Good afternoon, everybody. This is Jim Keene with the Cattle Hedgers Almanac and a in-depth look at cattle on feed and our slaughter totals for the November report. Basically, this is giving us a snapshot of our fundamental picture, what occurred in October. First up, let's look at some of the numbers. On feed previous, we had 11.7 million head on feed. We placed in October 2.19 million head, marketed 1.873 million head, 63,000 disappearance, giving us a grand total as of November 1st, 11.973 head. A number I like to watch, placed minus marketed, which is also the month over month totals, increased our herd size by 256,000 head. So our place versus marketed number comes in at 1.17. We like that ratio to be as close to 1 or under 1 as possible. And this is the time of year we're going to be over 1 because of the general dynamic of the market and how America and the world eats beef. So how does that compare on our monthly comparison? Here we are in the November report, and you can see it was, I believe, the biggest again since data has been collected since '96. So really big cattle on feed number. And of course, we've been hammering this for quite a few months now, and that was because of pandemic and our slaughter rate being all pretty negative earlier this year, May, June. How does that compare with our 19, 5, and 10-year averages? And of course, we're above them all, above 19 and well above our 5 and 10-year averages. As our cattle on feed as a percentage of 10-year accumulated, we come in this month at 106.61% of the 10-year accumulated. Last year, we were at 107.11. So that's last year compared to its previous 10-year accumulated total. So slightly better comparatively, but still a pretty large on feed number. Look at our placed monthly comparison. In the November report, you can see we were way less than we were last year, and I thought we would see a bigger spike, but we didn't. And I think the reason was, and I kind of alluded to this the last video for last month's cattle on feed, was you can see in August was a big placement number, September was a big number, and October report was a big number. And I think is what was happening is because of the drought situation in this country, we were starting to bring calves to the feedlot earlier because our pasture conditions were deteriorating. So we were getting big placement numbers faster than we normally see them. And I think what we're happening is that's going to start slacking off now that the calves, a good chunk of the calves are now placed in the feedlots. We're going to see that number get less and less. December is typically a lower placement month, and I think we're going to see that again. And I bet you we come in even less than what our normal December looks like. How does that compare to 9, 5, and 10-year averages? And you can see we're below all of them in our placement. So here again, July onward, we're placing more cattle than normal. And now I'm just kind of wondering if our placements are going to start coming down because we placed all those calves earlier. Here's our marketing numbers in a monthly comparison and our November report, which was pretty good. not not above them, you know, not what we need, but a pretty decent marketing number. Compared to last year and a 10-year average, right on the money in the 19 and above the 10-year average. So we need that trend to continue. We need marketings to stay higher. Place versus marketed compared to a 19, 5, and 10-year average. This is kind of like my stock to use ratio. Everything above 1 is kind of a bearish number, below 1 is bullish. But we did come in above 1, but we are below all of our averages and 19. So that's kind of what we want to see. We're naturally going to be higher than 1 because of the demand side being not as good in the winter months. But we like to see that number or that ratio below our averages at least. So, and it was. So that's a good sign. Here's my month over month cattle on feed totals. Also, basically, it was placed minus marketings. Finally got this on a chart. And this is going back to 2010. What we did. So, the last 3 years in a row, we increased our herd size by a lot. And this is this year's pace. Of course, the final numbers aren't in yet. We came in this month, I don't remember, quite a lot less. And of course, we added 256,000 head. We're still below last year's place numbers, but we're below that zero mark, so that's a good sign. And if who knows, maybe next month comes in again. If we don't increase our herd size, maybe that's a start of something. But for right now, we basically are at last year's placed versus minus marketed rate as were last year. Now let's look at our slaughter totals for October. We slaughtered 2.9 million head. Our live weights remain huge at 1385. Dress weight's 844 pounds. And we produced 2.4 million pounds of meat. Monthly comparisons. This is October slaughter. Really big number. We've had pretty good Octobers in the last couple of years, and we had another one this month. Compared to 19 and a 10-year average, a little bit less than 19 and above our 10-year average, so we need that to continue. Next couple of months moving forward, we generally start bringing our slaughter rates down a little bit. So I would expect our slaughter to be a little less moving at the last couple of months of the year. Our slaughter percentage of 10-year accumulated comes in at 101.88%. Compared to last year, we are slaughtering at a 97% of last year's total. Live weights remain huge and they are increasing, and I would expect them to continue to increase November and December. Again, we generally slaughter less cattle in those months, and so our weights are going to get a little bit heavier moving in through the end of the year. And I'd expect that to happen. Now, our weights are really heavy because of the pandemic and the slowing down of slaughtered cattle. And so we got a backlog of cattle. Now, really watch these live weights. I think if we start dropping our live weights compared to a previous year and a 5-year average, then I would say that we're starting to get through some of the backlog of cattle that we have ready to slaughter. But until we start seeing weights dropping, I don't see us getting through the backlog very fast. And my fundamental factor, kind of, if I had to quantify whether or not I thought the report or the current fundamentals were bullish or not, um, this is it. This is a very easy formula I threw together. So last month's factor, we come in at 94.99. This month we slipped a little bit down to 94.96. So everything above 100% is bullish, below 100% is bearish. And the fundamental factor is also the number I use for the price barometer. So 94.96, a little bit bearish still in our overall fundamental picture. So there's some problems, and I wanted to put them down and kind of put some numbers to them that I see. And that is, we are feeding 256,000 more head than we were at this point last year, according to this cattle on feed report. But our current slaughter rate is 97% of last year, or 717,000 head less head than last year. And are as of November 1st. Of course, we have weekly totals, and we've already into this month 3 weeks, but this is as of November 1st. So that tells me we are still backed up approximately 973,000 head. And if our slaughter rate isn't better than last year, you know, I don't know what it's going to take to get through all these head. I think it's a bearish situation, and I just don't know how we're going to get through it all. That is, we're approaching 1 million head. That's a lot of beef to go through. And I don't know where our slaughter capacity is in percentage, but if we're going to see bullish prices coming, we've got to get through that 1 million head backlog, or we're just not going to see a whole lot of rally in these prices, in my opinion. So we need to really keep watching the slaughter totals, and hopefully our place numbers keep going down, and we have less head to feed. That's how we're going to get through it. So any comments or questions, just give me a call or email me, whatever. And that's how I see it. Yep. Stay safe, everybody. Hope you don't have the Wu flu. Eat more beef. Talk to you later.